I never imagined betrayal would arrive so casually through my own front door, like it belonged there. I'm Callum Wright, 43, married for 15 years, and until recently, I believed loyalty was something you earned by showing up every day, paying bills, fixing what broke, keeping your promises even when no one clapped for you. My wife, Eleanor, used to say she loved that steadiness about me, said it made her feel safe. Funny how safety can slowly turn into invisibility without you noticing when it starts. It didn't happen overnight. It never does. The warmth faded first. Conversations turned practical, then quiet, then transactional. She stopped asking how my day went and started telling me what needed doing. I adapted. Men like me always do. I cooked more, listened harder, made space. I told myself marriages evolve, that passion matures into companionship. What I didn't realize was that while I was adjusting, she was replacing. The first clue was subtle. A new password on her phone, a smile she didn't explain, late errands that made no sense. I asked once, calmly, and she laughed it off, said I was overthinking. I wanted to believe her. Belief is cheaper than truth when truth costs you everything. So I swallowed it and kept going, because that's what husbands are taught to do. Hold the line. Don't rock the boat. The night everything changed was a Tuesday. Ordinary. Predictable. I came home earlier than usual after a site inspection got canceled. The house was quiet, but not empty. I heard voices in the living room, low and familiar. Her laugh. Not the polite one she gave me anymore, but the unguarded kind. I didn't walk in right away. I stood in the hallway, listening, feeling something settle into place inside my chest. Then I saw him. Tall, confident, shoes by the door like he'd done it before. He followed her into my kitchen, touched her lower back like it was muscle memory. I didn't explode. I didn't shout. I watched. Because when reality finally arrives, screaming doesn't help you understand it. Clarity does. What he didn't know was that I'd already figured it out weeks earlier, that I'd stopped guessing and started observing. I knew her patterns. I knew her tells. I knew where the money was moving and how often her stories contradicted themselves. And quietly, methodically, I prepared. Not out of revenge, out of self-respect. I stepped into the room and introduced myself. Callum, I said, extending my hand. He froze for half a second too long. Eleanor's face drained of color. He stammered his name, Marcus, and shook my hand like this was a networking event instead of a funeral for my marriage. I invited him to sit. He hesitated, then did. People often do when they think they're in control. I didn't accuse. I didn't insult. I simply talked. Asked him how long he'd known my wife. Asked her how long she planned on lying. Silence filled the space where excuses should have been. That's when I told them both I was aware of the apartment she'd been renting under her sister's name. The joint account she'd been quietly draining. The lawyer she'd consulted without telling me. Marcus looked at her then, really looked, like he was seeing the full picture for the first time. I let that settle before I stood up. I told Marcus he was free to go, not because I forgave him, but because he wasn't the problem I needed to solve. Eleanor started to cry. Real tears this time. She reached for me, said we could talk, that she'd made a mistake. I listened. Then I explained, calmly, that the trap wasn't for him. It was for me. To see clearly. To stop lying to myself. I handed her a folder I'd prepared weeks ago. Bank statements. Legal documents. A drafted separation agreement. I'd already moved my assets, already spoken to counsel, already documented everything. I told her she could stay the night, but after that, communication would go through attorneys only. Marcus left without another word. The door closed behind him, and with it, the last illusion I was holding on to. I slept better that night than I had in years. Not because I felt victorious, but because I felt finished. The kind of finished that doesn't need closure from the person who broke you. The house felt bigger, quieter, honest. The next morning, Eleanor packed. She tried to talk again. I wished her well and walked away. Eleanor tried once more, through an email that mixed regret with entitlement. She said 15 years should count for something. I agreed. They counted enough to teach me what absence feels like, what quiet erosion does to a man who keeps showing up alone. I didn't reply. My lawyer did. Clean, efficient, final. I rebuilt slowly, not to prove anything, but because rebuilding was necessary. New routines, new mornings, a gym I'd avoided, dinners that didn't end in disappointment. The loneliness came and went, but it was honest loneliness, not the kind you feel lying next to someone who's already gone. That difference matters more than people admit. Sometimes I think about Marcus, about the look on his face when he realized the story he'd been sold was missing chapters. I don't hate him. I don't need to. Everyone plays their role in a lesson they don't yet understand. Mine was learning that loyalty without reciprocity is just self-betrayal with better manners. I didn't win or lose. I woke up. I chose peace over familiar pain.